Haggerty, who is now returning second-team All-American, who will now join Nate Johnson and David Castillo in Kansas State's backcourt. That Kansas State team is sneaky good and also like sneaky fun, man. PJ Haggerty's a fun player. Nate Johnson's a fun player. And they went out and they got Marcus Johnson, the 6'7", 300-pound point forward, I guess is the way that you would describe him, point center, point left tackle from Bowling Green, a guy that was first team All-MAC. Kansas State fans, if you've not watched the highlights of Marcus Johnson, yeah, I'm sure you have, but you need to go and look him up because that dude is one of the more entertaining basketball players in the country. How did that get done? Why did PJ Haggerty end up there? And how do you think he will fit with what Jerome Tang wants to do offensively?
I mean, I think it got done just because, again, when you have your dad as an agent here, it's going to turn some people off, which happened here. The high price tag early certainly turned, some schools off. And when you went through the process, and we talked about this, there are some schools left at the end, but they may not be the schools you want because a lot of the schools, the top schools, they're getting their rosters done. They're not waiting till the 11th hour. So at the end of the day, I think he could have gotten more elsewhere. He ends up at Kansas State where he can be a guy. Here's my take for it. If he did get in the neighborhood, which is what I was told, of $2.5 million, somewhere around there, Memphis's offer was more than that. You're coming off an unbelievable year at Memphis. Like, why? I mean, I used the Meechie Johnson example yesterday on Twitter. And Meechie, while he didn't have the year that PJ Haggerty did 2 years ago, but he had a hell of a year at South Carolina. He led them in scoring. They were one of the biggest surprise teams in the country. And then he took more money to go back to Ohio State. Didn't work out. And now he's back at South Carolina. And it's like, sometimes just be careful what you wish for. Like, you have a great thing going. Why screw with it? Why mess with it? And I hope it works out for him. I hope it works out for Kansas State in this. And it could. He could duplicate what he did last year at Memphis, but he knows what he had at Memphis with Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway knew what he had in PJ Haggerty. So I just felt like this was I don't want to say mishandled negotiation the whole way through, but sometimes it's better to go get a good agent. Go get a good, reputable agent. A lot of the good, reputable agents they're representing college players now, by the way, because there's enough money in it right now. It's not just, some low-level slapdicks that are out there trying to make a few bucks. So I think, again, in this case, I think it was probably not handled the way it could have been.
Well, what's strange about it to me is that I think the end result is probably a pretty good place for PJ Haggerty to end up being in, right? If you kind of look at what Jerome Tang's done and the success that they have had, it's been with guys that are, kind of talented, undersized fours. Who was the guy that played with Marquise Noel? Keyshawn, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name.
Keontae Johnson.
Yeah. Keontae Johnson. So it was with Keontae Johnson and Marquise Noel, right? And I don't think it's quite that same level, but the blueprint of what Tang and his staff are trying to put together makes sense, right? So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for PJ Haggerty to end up at Kansas State as a point guard and a lead guard with a coach that gives his lead guards quite a bit of freedom. I think that the problem is the process to end up getting there. One, probably costs you some money in terms of what you would have gotten from Memphis. And two, puts you in a position where you have to learn something new instead of all of the stuff that you already knew, right? You already knew how you fit with Penny Hardaway, and you kind of made that point. So it's weird.
And Rob, three is you're going to a program that was not an NCAA tournament team a year ago, and on the face of it right now, it does not look like an NCAA tournament team today.
Yeah, I mean, that changes. It's hard for me to say that a team that just added a second-team All-American with a couple of good mid-major transfers coming in, like MAC guys tend to translate well when they move up, right?
Are you ranking?
Really
are you going to rank them? Are you going to, if you're ranking the top 25, are you going to have Kansas State in the top 25?
No, but I probably would have them in the top half of the Big 12. And I think that they are
they're
good
a
enough
fringe tournament team. I guess what I'm saying is they're maybe a fringe tournament team on paper right now. All I'm saying is
I'd say they're a top 40 team, but yes, your point is, yeah, I got you. Your point is made. You're not going to a situation where you're walking in to compete for a national championship. You're going to a situation where you should be on a team that wins 20 games in the Big 12, more or less. And that's not something that
you could have probably had $2.5 million at Florida when this process started, right? You probably could have had Boogie Flan's contract when this process started, but you went for more money. And right now, if you're Florida with Xavier Lee, you're talking about the same thing we're talking about with Florida right now, a chance to repeat. Instead, you're going to Kansas State where, let's face it, like they got a lot to prove this year.